The brand BYD has come a very long way in a very short space of time. In just a couple of years, they've gone from being unknown within the UK to making a huge splash into our EV market with their array of electric and also hybrid vehicles, which are named after sea life animals and creatures. I recently test drove their latest, smallest and most affordable car. That was the BYD Dolphin Surf, and I was very impressed, although that car has tough competition from the likes of the Renault 5 and also the Hyundai Insta. But this car that I'm filming today, this is the opposite of that. This is their most expensive and largest vehicle in the range. This is the BYD Sealion 7. And if I thought that the BYD Dolphin Surf had tough competition, then this is something different altogether. This enters a very crowded market with tough competition from the likes of the Volkswagen ID.4, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Kia EV6 and of course the Tesla Model Y. So has the BYD Sealion 7 got what it takes to go fin to fin with the top of the top within this market? Well, that's what I'm going to find out in today's video. Hi guys, my name's Tish and welcome back to my channel, Also Social UK. In today's video, we're going to be diving into the BYD Sealion 7 and finding out everything there is to know. So if that sounds good, then please keep watching. And if you do like new car reviews and car content, well, you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. So firstly, why don't I outline the different specifications that you can get in the Sealion 7? In the UK, there are three different specifications available: comfort, design and excellence. Comfort features a rear-wheel drive configuration and has a maximum power output of 310 horsepower and a maximum torque of 380 newton meters. The all-electric range is 300 miles for this model. The design offers all-wheel drive with a motor in the front and a motor in the rear. It delivers a maximum power output of 520 horsepower and 690 newton meters of torque. Due to the added power, the electric range is estimated at 283 miles. Both the comfort and design models feature an 82.5 kilowatt-hour battery. However, the range-topping excellence features a slightly larger 91.3 kilowatt-hour battery. The Excellence is also all-wheel drive and has the same motor configuration as the design, with the same power outputs, but this version has the larger battery, and that boosts the longer WLTP combined electric range to 312 miles, and features a higher maximum DC charging power of 230 kilowatts compared to the other two specifications, which get 150 kilowatts. So what about styling? Well, recently I test drove the BYD Seal UDMI, the plug-in hybrid, and I remarked in that video that it just looked too blobby. I really didn't like the styling. I'm not quite as smitten with it. I think it loses a little bit of its sparkle, and it didn't look enough like, in my opinion, the most handsome BYD in the range, the Seal. Well, I think that the Sealion 7 answers all of the qualms that I had about the UDMI, because this vehicle is much sharper in its design. Sure, it's larger and of course taller than the Seal, but it takes that sharper angular styling and it adds it to this SUV, and I think it works really well. You've got these very sharp lights at the front, and then you've got these lovely two creases that run all the way up to the top of the bonnet. You also at the bottom here have a very angular diffuser. You've got some pieces of black that just break up that bumper, and then you've got some chrome which runs along the sides of the bottom and also all the way down the side of the car. I do think that this is a very, very handsome looking vehicle, and it also comes in some quite nice colours as well. For instance, you have this lovely deep blue colour on this version, and I think that works really well. It takes a very common colour and just makes it a little bit different. It's not without its issues, however, and in my opinion, I think the wheels and the wheel arches just don't match the premium look of the rest of the car. You've got plastic wheel arches here, and I really wish that those were either a gloss paint or just paint coloured. I think it would look a lot better, and it definitely would have that premium touch that some of its rivals have. The wheels, these are 20-inch alloy wheels, which in my opinion are massive. Slightly too big for the vehicle, and it's going to give you a harsher ride. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but if I could have some smaller wheels, I definitely would. But they do look nice. You've got the contrasting gloss black, and you've also got some chrome, and you also have a peek through of the red brake calipers, and that hints at this car's performance because this is the all-wheel drive version, so it has that massive 530 brake horsepower. It's also wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport 5 tyres, so it's good that it's riding on a good set of rubber. Overall, however, I do think this is a very appealing looking vehicle. You get these flush door handles, but if you press the button, those pop out and then you have BYD written on them. It feels a little bit special, and I also like these door handles a lot better than the ones that you have to press and try and hook to get them out. You also have gloss black around the door mirrors, and that also goes around the windows as well. But what about the interior? Inside of this cabin is genuinely a very pleasant space. You have a lot of soft touch materials and everything feels very well built. You can tell that this is the top of the range vehicle, as it does feel higher quality than the rest of the BYD range. You may be thinking, why have they named everything after sea life creatures, and does it actually have any significance? Well, mostly no, but they have brought some of those water and fluid elements into the vehicle. So for instance, on these seats, they do feel very flowy, almost like the sea. I also love that you have this greeny blue stitching, as it matches really well with the exterior paint colour. You also have these swooping edges on the doors, which do very much look like a sea creature. And I love the way that you just have different elements. You have the door handles, which can be found here, and then you have Alcantara and leather, and behind this you have like an imitation carbon. It does feel very interesting. I like the fact that it feels quite executive in this cabin. You've got lots of blacks used, lots of chromes, but then also it's very interesting. They've layered up the cabin. So like I said, you've got those layers on the doors, and you've also got layers on the dashboard. Once again, with this being the design model, you do get elevated ambient lighting. So at night, all of that dashboard lights up and looks very special. Let's turn on the car and we'll talk about, of course, BYD's party piece. I'll have to turn down the air conditioning as it's very hot today, so I've had that going at full speed. This is their central touchscreen. Comes as standard in all of their vehicles, no matter which version you go for, and we'll talk a bit more about the specs in a moment. And it's very clear, very high definition. It's not always perfect. Some customers have reported that at times it can be a little bit laggy, doesn't always work great, but I have to say, whilst I've been spending time with it, it's been pretty much spot on. It also has the pièce de résistance of the rotating screen, which means depending on whether you're using your maps or whether you're using your Apple CarPlay, you can have it in those different configurations to whichever you find best. To be honest, I personally like it in the landscape, but if you do like to have a portrait screen, then I like the fact that you have the option. You also get this panoramic opening sunroof, or opening in terms of an electric sunroof blind, in every version of this car. So even if you go for the entry level, you still get that panoramic roof. Like I said, it doesn't physically open, but you do get an electric sunroof, which feels quite special. They all also get wireless charging as standard as well, and you get this very nice crystal gear selector in the centre console. I like the layout of this centre console as well. It feels very, very practical. You've got two cup holders here in the centre, wireless charging up front, and you've got a few shortcut buttons here. For instance, you can put your fans on full, on off, and also put them on auto as well. So I like the fact that you don't have to fiddle around with the touchscreen. Some of those shortcuts are right here, and you also do have a physical start-stop button. This is interesting because lots of cars nowadays, they're keyless entry but also keyless start, and you don't even have to press a button. As soon as you're sitting on the seat, you can turn the car on and then you can go. However, I actually quite like to have a physical button because sometimes you want to leave the car running when you exit the car or when you're putting things in the boot, and I like the fact that it doesn't go off as soon as you get in and out of your seat. You may have seen, however, when I did get in and out, it has got electrically memory function and comfort access seats, so very, very high quality. So what is the standard specification across the 3 trim levels? All of the models feature a multifunctional heated leather steering wheel, dual zone climate control and a comprehensive suite of interior lighting. However, the Comfort model is equipped with vegan leather seats, while the Design and the Excellence feature real leather. All models include the rotatable touchscreen, you get an in-car Wi-Fi hotspot and onboard 4G connectivity. The Design and the Excellence models further enhance the experience with a Dyne audio sound system featuring 12 speakers and a head-up display as well as navigation. Just in general, I think that the BYD Sealion 7 strikes a really nice balance between feeling executive, looking interesting, being comfortable, and being absolutely packed full of tech. But what's it like on the road? Let's find out. On the road, the all-wheel drive version of the Sealion is fast, like properly fast. 530 PS in a family SUV is no joke. This thing goes from 0 to 62 in just 3.8 seconds, and that puts it in the same ballpark as the Tesla Model Y Performance and also the Porsche Macan 4 Electric. But when it comes to the Sealion, what's great about it is that power doesn't feel intimidating to drive. The steering is light and the ride is smooth, and the power delivery is progressive. It's not trying to be a sports car, it's just really quick and really comfortable. That said, however, if you are after a truly engaging drive, then something like perhaps the Kia EV6 GT still edges it on both feel and handling. The BYD suspension is tuned for comfort, and in tighter corners, you can really feel its weight. But for motorway cruising and everyday use, it stays extremely refined. While this all-wheel drive version has straight line speed to surprise hot hatches at the lights, what really stands out more in this car is comfort and the sense of composure at everyday speeds. The suspension strikes a really good balance. It soaks up potholes and surface imperfections well, especially considering the car's size and weight. There is a bit of firmness on sharper bumps, which is probably down to those whacking great wheels, but it never feels uncomfortable, which I think is key for a family car. Around town, the steering feels light, and actually the turning circle is really decent for a car of its size, which makes it easy to manoeuvre in tighter urban settings. Now, out on the motorway, I think this is where this car shines. The Sealion really settles into being very refined and a real good cruiser. There's actually minimal road and wind noise, which is helped by the flush bodywork and just its overall contouring. And road noise is kept well dampened too, despite the size of the wheels. Adaptive cruise control and lane centering come as standard, and they all work reasonably well, though the system can occasionally feel a little bit intrusive, and as you've seen, it keeps telling me to look straight ahead at the road, which is a fair enough ask. Regenerative braking is adjustable, though there's no true one pedal driving mode, something a few EV drivers may miss. That said, the transition between regen and friction braking is smooth, and overall the Sealion feels predictable and confident, which is exactly what you want from your family-focused SUV. Now, BYD is actually one of the few EV makers that actually builds its own batteries, and the Sealion 7 uses their in-house blade battery tech, which is based on the LFP chemistry. This gives it several advantages. You see, it's more thermally stable, meaning that there's less chance of it overheating, which is good on a day like today, or a thermal runaway. It also is more durable over time, and it's safer to charge to 100%, unlike some other battery chemistries. The downside, however, to LFP packs are typically they're heavier and they are slightly less energy dense than some of the NMC ones. But BYD compensates this with clever packaging and software, and you also get a heat pump as standard across all of the trims, which really helps out in colder climates and weather. And this is something that a lot of its rivals don't include, especially the Volkswagen Group. The Sealion, just like the Seal, is a pretty long vehicle, and that means it gives you loads of room for rear seat passengers. I have got legroom for absolutely miles, and there's so much space in this floor as well. You also get loads of headroom because you sit down pretty low in the back, much lower than you do in the front. And whilst that's good for space, it feels super spacious, it's not great if you have children who suffer from travel sickness, because I haven't got a brilliant view outside, and that means that I do feel a little bit woozy when I'm travelling in the back, which is not always the best. However, comfort is fantastic. These seats are so comfortable, and you can also recline and bring these seats upwards, but it's a shame that I can't find any way to do that without using the handles on the backs of the seats. It would have been nice to almost have a lever to be able to do it just down the side of the seats like some of its competitors. And also I have got so much legroom that it would have been nice if I could have slid the bench forward and backwards, and that would have given me more space in the boot. So it's a shame that it's not as configurable as some of its competitors. You do, however, have plenty of amenities for your rear seat passengers. So I've got loads of lovely pockets on the backs of the seats for popping all my items in. I've also got quite big door cards as well for popping items into the doors. I've got heated seats in the back here on both of the outer edges. You've got a little area here which gives you a couple of pop-out USB-C charge points. I like the fact that you can tuck them away and it looks nice and neat. There's no extra storage in the front there, so you can't access any storage from the front. That would have been nice, but I do get a pull-down armrest, and you get these pop-out cup holders here, and then you get a little bit of storage back here. So that feels very high quality, and it's equivalent to much more expensive vehicles within this area of the market. So if there's so much space in the back here, what does that mean for boot space?
Well, the Sealion 7's 520 litre boot is respectable but not class leading. It offers a practical volume for daily use and weekend trips, especially once the frunk and deep underfloor storage are factored in. Yes, you heard that right. The 58 litre frunk is a welcome bonus, but fairly modest. Great for cables or small items, but not large luggage. Overall, whilst it doesn't come close to the cavernous 971 litres combined of the Model Y, it should be practical enough for most modest families.
Overall, I don't think that BYD are reinventing the wheel when it comes to the Sealion, but they have built a very compelling and competitive package. It feels uber comfortable inside. You've got loads and loads of tech. I think that this is one of the better looking, larger family electric SUVs. But of course it does have its quirks, and that is the fact that some of its reliability still may be unpredictable, with BYD only recently entering the market, and also that infotainment system can sometimes be a little bit irritating, and just the sensitivity of all of those driver aids, yeah, it can get a little bit annoying at times. But that isn't enough to hold me back in recommending the BYD Sealion. It's clear that BYD aren't just playing catch up, they really are setting the pace when it comes to electric vehicles. I really hope you have enjoyed this video today, guys. Let me know, what do you think of the BYD Sealion 7? Pop it in the comments down below. If you have enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up, and I would really love if you go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more reviews like this. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see you later.